The virus as the Oxford.
But there's so much noise drowning out the news. Talking heads, broadcast messages, press releases. They're telling you their side, but you just want the facts. And that's why you come to me. I give you the statistics without spin.
Out of 116 million working age Nigerians, 35.5 million are employed full-time. That's 30%.
I give you the context. I give you the history. I fight fake news with facts.
Kayode. No, Kayode, I will let you talk. Kayode, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Kayode.
That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in.
500,000 Lagosians.
720,000. 970,000. Over 1 million Lagosians. They know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, on all you do, going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
First hard fact of the day, 26 new COVID confirmations yesterday. 13 of those cases were in Lagos alone. So continue to take your precautions, Lagos. Limit your movement outside. Wear a mask, give gap, wash and sanitize your hands as frequently as possible. And go and get vaccinated, though. If you haven't gotten your vaccines yet, please go and get vaccinated. They've started to give out first doses again. And then for those of you who have received your first dose but you haven't gotten your second dose, don't allow your village people to win. Please go and get it. Go and get your second dose. I've gotten mine and I'm good. I've got mine and I'm good. So please go do it. Join the 1 million Lagosians who cannot be wrong, but they could get COVID if they don't take precautions or get vaccinated. Thank you for listening to the show every single day. I have a great show for you. We'll start with the Big Three Global Edition. We'll talk about the Ecowas court's ruling against Nigeria's Twitter ban. Then we'll talk about the naval standoff between Russia and the UK in Crimean waters. And then let's talk about the new revelations that the U.S. government wasn't prepped for a handover to Mike Pence when Trump caught COVID. All those conversations happening right here on Big Three Global. We've got Public Square and Music and Moments with Ifeanyi and Sam today. That's happening today. And then we will, of course, bring you sports at 7 o'clock Lagos. But let's get started with the Big Three Global Edition. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
The Big Three Global Edition on Hard Facts.
Will the federal government, who enforces ECOWAS decisions abroad, obey the ECOWAS court on the Twitter ban? Will relations between Russia and the West improve or worsen? And how much should citizens know about government officials' health? This is Big Three Global Edition. On Fridays, we try, keyword try, to let Nigeria rest and look at the biggest stories from other parts of the world, even though sometimes the big stories are still Nigerian stories or they also affect Nigeria. Take a look at our first story, for instance. That's the ECOWAS court and the Twitter ban. So the court is hearing Serap's case against the ban. Serap says it violates Nigerians' rights to freedom of expression guaranteed by the African Human Rights Charter. So now the ECOWAS court has given a temporary injunction pending the full hearing. And the injunctions is, quote, restraining the government of President Muhammadu Buhari and its agents from unlawfully imposing sanctions or doing anything whatsoever to harass, intimidate, arrest or prosecute Twitter and any other social media service providers, media houses, radio and television broadcast stations, the plaintiffs and other Nigerians who are Twitter users, pending the hearing and determination of this suit, end quote. Now, pay very close attention to the wording of that injunction. The ECOWAS court is saying that for now, the government should not go after anybody for tweeting or accessing Twitter or providing access to Twitter. Did you pay attention to that? So this includes private citizens tweeting, media houses tweeting or using Twitter. Remember that the NBC has ordered all TV and radio stations to stop using Twitter and to stop taking news from Twitter. Service providers giving people access to Twitter. Remember that the NCC has ordered all ISPs to stop granting access to Twitter. And then Twitter itself. So that could mean that the federal government should not stop access to Twitter at all until the case is heard and a final judgment given. So that's what this injunction could mean. Now, we told you yesterday that the Attorney General, Abubakar Malami, said that the government is studying the injunction. Now, we're going to see what the government decides to do, one way or the other. But before the injunction came, the government filed a response to SERAP at the Ecowas court. Part of the government's argument is that Ecowas court lacks the jurisdiction to determine what can and cannot be a crime in Nigeria. And a lot of people who support the Twitter ban have agreed with this. They say that Nigeria is a sovereign nation, so no court outside Nigeria should have the right to judge a Nigerian matter. But here's the thing. There's a document called Ecowas Treaty. Nigeria signed it. I read it again this week when this argument started. Now, the Ecowas Treaty is what gives power to the Ecowas court. The court doesn't have powers in every area of life, but it has power when it comes to human rights. And specifically, the Ecowas Treaty gives the Ecowas court the power to hear cases where application of a law in a member country leads to the violation of human rights of citizens, etc., etc. And Nigeria signed this treaty. So basically, the Nigerian government has agreed to let the Ecowas court judge human rights cases of all types. So it's interesting to hear the government argue in court that the Ecowas court doesn't have that right. It's very interesting to hear that argument. Some would say that this is similar to what happened between President Buhari and Twitter. The president signed up for Twitter, agreed to Twitter's terms of service, including Twitter's rules, and those rules gave Twitter permission to delete his tweets. But when it happened, the presidency claimed that it violated sovereignty. So I want us to stay on this sovereignty issue for a bit. This month, on Big 3 Global, we've talked a lot about the coup in Mali. You remember that? We talked about ECOWAS condemning the coup and giving the Malian government an ultimatum. We talked about ECOWAS sending Goodluck Jonathan as an emissary to evaluate the situation. We talked about the Nigerian government supporting the ECOWAS move to suspend Mali. So here's what I want to ask. Is Mali a sovereign nation? When Nigeria and ECOWAS were taking these steps to deal with an internal matter in Mali, did Mali's sovereignty matter? Women, call me on 01465-7190. 01465-7190. Men, call me on 0700-993-993. 0700-993-993. What do you think about the ECOWAS court's injunction? Do you think the federal government will comply? Given that the federal government signed the ECOWAS treaty, which empowers the ECOWAS court, does its argument about sovereignty hold water? We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. That's 080-959-75805. And yes, you can leave your thoughts with us via Facebook. Nigeria Info 99.3. That's Facebook. Nigeria Info 99.3. We've got the YouTube stream as well, the live stream on YouTube. So share your thoughts there as well. YouTube is Nigeria Info FM. 99.3. Hello. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. The number to call is 0700-993-993-993. Women, call us on 01465-7190. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Ruben.
Hi, Ruben. Your line is very unclear. I don't know what's happening with that.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, on the West African ECOWAS ruling, I support it.
Okay.
Nigeria signed to be part of ECOWAS. In fact, they signed it with Togo, at least last time I heard. And they have, once they signed those treaties, especially on the cases of human rights, they have subjected themselves to the rules, to ECOWAS. So if Nigeria thinks the ECOWAS cannot rule in whatever, then they should leave ECOWAS. They should leave ECOWAS and let Morocco come in and run things. That's what they be. Are you there, ma'am?
I'm here.
So the government, and I'm not talking about our Buhari supporters. Whenever the government go against human rights, they go extrajudicial, especially extra constitutional, like they go against the constitution in making a decision. They keep shouting to this. We are sovereign nation. 1, 2, I don't know where that comes from. What's the meaning of national interest and sovereignty?
I wish we could continue this conversation, Ruben, but your line is not clear at all, and that's not making for quality radio. 99.3. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Very well, my name is Ade. I'm calling from Ure.
Ade, welcome.
Okay. We are only looking at it from the point of human rights. We are not looking at it from the point of the security issues that the tweets are causing. So our argument, like you are painting, is like we are looking at it from the point of human rights. The claim of the government is that tweets can cause a problem in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's true. But we're also talking about what the government argued in court, and what they argued in court was simply that ECOWAS court lacks jurisdiction to determine what can and cannot be a crime in Nigeria.
Yeah, what can and cannot is about what the Twitter is causing. It's not about the human rights point alone.
No, but the lawsuit from Serap is that this is a human right abuse.
Yeah, that's the suit from Serap. The government has a stand to say this is not just about human rights alone.
Okay.
You understand? I am not in support of this government, but when we make assertions like this, so we should be balanced, and it shouldn't be from the point of what is against the government alone. It should be what the government.
Did you start listening? Did you start listening to this show from the middle, or did you listen from the beginning? Because if you did, if you did, then you would have heard me give number one the argument of Serap, and then the argument of the government. I'm not going to make up argument that the government didn't make now. Will I?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the government position, it's about the effect on the security of this nation. So if you are looking at it from the point of human rights, yes, we signed the treaty.
No, but that's you adding an argument that they did not make before the court.
Well, I don't know, but I know that has been the government.
You don't know, but you're arguing with your chest.
No. We know what the government said about this issue.
Yes, we do. But before the ECOWAS court, what their answer was, what their response was ECOWAS, you no get right to ask us waiting be crime or no be crime for Nigeria. You don't get this jurisdiction to determine what can and cannot be a crime in Nigeria.
Yeah, you have jurisdiction to determine what can cause a problem in this country, what can cause a crime. That is straightforward.
Oh my goodness.
The government did not go from the point of whether it's human rights or not human rights. It's a setup that suits the government. So in case of human rights.
Right. Okay.
You understand? So
I
that's
understand.
it.
Okay.
Thank you,
Ade. We've got Elias in Lekki on the line. Elias, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you on the show. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, we are tired of government going back and front. The thing is it that they didn't read the document before they signed it earlier? If not, I wonder how they will be able to win the court now, because it is what they signed. So I don't know what the government is doing. So if we can be the one to go to Mali and sort their, I don't know why it is that then them coming down here to fight for the human rights. The last caller was saying they don't have the right. Why didn't they have the right? They have the right. This is human rights. In a new nation, this is a human right. I don't know what he's arguing about there. Please, I don't know. Maybe he didn't listen well, so you have to go back and wait and listen well and know what they are talking about. Thank you.
Elias, thank you very much for calling.
Yeah.
If you just tuned into the show, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And every Friday, we take a break from Nigeria and we bring you stories from other parts of the world, even though sometimes the stories from other parts of the world affect Nigeria as well. And our first story today is the Ecowas court hearing Serap's case against the ban and saying that it violates Nigeria's rights to freedom of expression guaranteed by the African Human Rights Charter. So the court gave a temporary injunction pending the full hearing, and the injunction is restraining the government of President Muhammadu Buhari and its agents from unlawfully imposing sanctions or doing anything whatsoever to harass, intimidate, arrest, or prosecute Twitter and any other social media service providers, media houses, radio and television broadcast stations, the plaintiffs, and other Nigerians who are Twitter users, pending the hearing and determination of this suit. And I told you to pay very close attention to the wording in that injunction, right? So the court is saying that for now, the government should not go after anybody for tweeting or accessing Twitter or providing access to Twitter. So that includes private citizens, media houses who use Twitter, because you have to remember, of course, that NBC ordered all TV and radio stations to stop using Twitter and stop getting news from Twitter. Then service providers who give people access to Twitter, because NCC ordered them to stop granting access, right? And then Twitter itself. So that could mean that the federal government should not stop access to Twitter at all until the case is heard and a final judgment has been given. And like I said, Attorney General Abubakar Malami said that the government is studying the injunction. So we don't know what they'll decide to do one way or the other. And before the injunction came, the government filed a response to Serap at the Ecowas court. And part of their argument is that Ecowas court lacks the jurisdiction to determine what can and cannot be a crime in Nigeria. And people who support the ban agree with that, like the caller who called Ade before Elias. But then I gave you some context and I told you about the Ecowas Treaty and I told you that Nigeria signed that treaty. The court doesn't have powers in every area, but it has powers where it concerns human rights. The Ecowas Treaty gives Ecowas courts the power to hear cases where application of a law in a member country leads to the violation of human rights of citizens. Nigeria signed the treaty. The Nigerian government, by signing that treaty, agreed to let ECOWAS courts judge human rights cases of all types. 0700-993-993-993. The question is what you think about the court injunction. Do you think the federal government will comply? Given that the federal government signed ECOWAS's treaty, which empowers the ECOWAS court, does its argument about sovereignty hold water? We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. And there's Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. That's Facebook. We've got Etim on the line. Etim is at Satellite Town. Etim, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you on the show. Good afternoon.
ECOWAS court, like any other international court, they're just a book door that cannot bite. They can bite, but they cannot bite. Say, for instance, Dansuki and Nnamdi Kanu, where the same court gave judgment in their favor, but the federal government decided not to obey the judgment. State at international level, they obey judgment that suit them, that suit their national interest, because the main objective of any state at international level, international organization, is their national interest. So if Nigeria brings at the point of national security, that is the point is sellable. So we cannot subchain our national security in the name of freedom. If there is war, these people that are crying freedom, there won't be freedom to use Twitter. And the U.S. ambassador says Nigeria should unban Twitter. The owner of Twitter is from U.S. It just deemed necessary to sue Trump for human rights abuses and to to truncate the electoral process during the election. Because when it comes to Africa, because they feel Africa is a portable region.
They actually sued Trump. Multiple lawsuits.
They should take it to International Criminal Court. Other countries, is it not yet the Kim and pick Taylor? They should take it to International Criminal Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Etim. 99.3. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? What's your name?
I'm fine. My name is Fidelis. I'm calling you from myself.
Welcome, Fidelis.
Yeah, Sandra. Well, I'm beginning to marvel at what the last speaker just said.
Okay.
It's not from countering him, but something that you know had held to. Why should you sign it? Now, if let's assume the ECOWAS is giving benefits to to states that exist among them, won't Nigeria benefit from it? So why is it coming to a case of maybe a judgment now that somebody is coming on air to tell us that they are bulldogs that cannot bite? For me, I just think in this part of the world that we are, we don't understand what law is. Or probably we don't understand what terms and conditions of a particular thing is. Nigerian people, I know, most especially our federal government, you see that judgment, truly they will not obey. And that is because this government, even our own constitution, they've been violating it. They've been going against it. And, damn it, nobody can do them anything because they feel that they are in power. Well, I just pray God is going to save us one day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at WhatsApp and see some of the comments we've got there. Sandra, I wonder why Nigerian government likes arguing blindly. They are fond of defending their misdeeds even when they know they are wrong and they're causing the nation embarrassment. That's a message from Prince in Aja. Prince, thank you very much for your message. Good evening, Sandra. Is Nigeria bigger than the ECOWAS? Okay. We've got Kenneth from Shasha who says Sierra Leone and Mali are sovereign states. If ECOWAS court does not have the right to determine what is wrong or right in Nigeria, then on whose right is Nigerian government deploying soldiers and police to these two countries? The presidency must always have something to say. Kenneth from Shasha, thank you for your message. It's Treaty OC. Thank you very much for your message. We've got Eze from Ojo who says, I wonder what qualifies Malami to be Attorney General. He argues negatively. Okay, well, he's a lawyer. Lawyers have to argue. We've got a message from Alaide Cruz who says, Sandra, this is a kind of shut up your mouth government. Whenever an issue turns around with Buhari's government, his ruthless generals will become aggressive and refuse to bend. They are not tolerant. They'll always want to do things their way. Buhari signed personal conduct terms with Twitter, not as government, same way as ECOWAS. Yet they will still refuse to respect human rights. It's not Buhari's fault, it's the citizens' fault. This is what our ignorance and failure has offered us. We'll keep making ourselves fools for voting people with no foundation for leadership into government. We're blind even when our eyes are widely open. All right, Olaide Cruz from Victoria Island with that message via WhatsApp. Lagos will take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you our second story where Russia may or may not have shot at a British warship. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment. You asked for it, and it's back.
It's a roundtable here. Special broadcast on Nigeria Info. We've got the entire team here.
Oh my God, the year of first. That's what 2020 has been. It's the year of first.
You're doing empowerment for youth. You give them bikes, you give them marijuana, and then years after, you tell them not to use them.
I feel like there's a huge disconnect between the government.
It's the Nigeria Info Roundtable.
And the actual consequence of poverty in Nigeria.
These are debts that can be avoidable if we just do the right thing.
All your favorite Nigeria Info presenters on air at the same time.
And the third person was an entrepreneur.
We missed the second person.
They all,
we missed the second
person. The first person, Sheriff, I can send it to you on WhatsApp.
All the biggest stories from the first half of 2021. Analyzed by the biggest voices on radio.
I am Sheriff Quadri, Lagos, Nigeria.
My name is Wemimo Adewinis.
You're hanging out with the techest steel.
My name's Joyce Onyemowa.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili.
Date 28th of June, Monday. Time 9 a.m. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
95.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, Lagos. 28 minutes past 3. Russia may or may not have shot at a British warship off the coast of the Crimea. And that's our second story.
The Big Three. Global edition on Hard Facts.
So this week, the Russian government claimed they shot warning shots at a Royal Navy destroyer, which they claimed violated Russian territorial waters. So according to them, some Russian ships and planes dropped bombs in front of the ship as a warning and also fired some shots in the general vicinity. But the UK government is saying that that's not exactly what happened. They say that there were no warning shots. They're saying that fear, no greedy Russians come near the ship. But they're also saying that the water in question does not belong to Russia. So let me give you a bit of context here. I'm the queen of context. There's a region called Crimea. It was part of the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union broke up in 1991, it became part of Ukraine. But in 2014, Russia annexed Crimea by force. So since then, there's been tension between Russia and the West over Crimea. Russia says Crimea is Russian territory, but NATO, which the UK is a member of, insists that Crimea still belongs to Ukraine because military force is not a legal way to claim territory. So now this situation with the British ship took place in Crimean territorial waters. So as far as the UK is concerned, that's Ukrainian waters. But Russia says, nah, it's our own. Now we get up. And so this whole episode is really the UK proving a point to Russia and daring Vladimir Putin to do something about it. And all the analysts, as you can imagine, are going crazy. They're asking whether the West is about to get more confrontational with Russia on the Ukraine issue or on issues like the Belarus hijacking, which we talked about a few weeks back, if you remember. But on the other hand, you have other Western nations seeming to take a more diplomatic approach with Russia. So, for example, this week, Angela Merkel said that the EU needs to have direct talks with Putin. Before now, the EU has resisted direct talks to punish Putin for annexing Crimea. But now Merkel and Macron are suggesting a carrot and stick approach where the EU offers high-level talks with Putin, but also threatens more sanctions if Russia doesn't start cooperating. We've seen Joe Biden, the US president, taking a similar approach. He agreed to meet with Putin, but he's also still talking tough about the issues. And Putin himself said Biden is not somebody to be messed around with. So this is now raising a question of whether the West is disunited in its Russian strategy. I mean, here we have in the same week the UK sending warships to taunt Russia, while Germany and France are offering talks. Some analysts think that this shows that since Brexit, the UK isn't fully up to speed about what her allies are doing. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the Royal Navy was correct to send a warship into Crimean waters? What do you think about the EU planning a carrot and stick approach with Alhaji Putin, with Russia? I call him Alhaji Putin. Do you think the West is united enough to contain Russia? Do you think both sides will, eventually see eye to eye? Women call me on 014657190. Men call me on 0700-993-993-993. Yes, you can still talk about Nigeria's Ecowas court injunction about the Twitter ban. You can still share your thoughts on that story. What do you think about the injunction? Do you think the federal government will comply? Do you think that the argument about sovereignty holds water with the ECOWAS courts, especially because we signed the ECOWAS treaty that empowers the ECOWAS court? We've got Peter on the line. Peter is calling us from Yaba. Hello, Peter.
Hello, good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. Good to have you here.
Yes. I want to make a little correction about that Russia, Ukraine, and Britain. Actually, that Crimean section belonged to Russia. Russia gave it to Ukraine in 1954. And when the Russian Federation broke up, and then Ukraine started romancing with the West, then Russia took back the Crimean territory. It had given to Ukraine since 1954. So that is just it. And the confrontation or the skirmish between Russia and Britain, Britain said no warning shot was fired, and Russia said they fired. And I think I believe the side of Russia, because those ones are ready to do anything to protect their territory. So for Britain to say nothing was fired, I think they are just saying it to save face. And one is, you are wondering why France and Germany, Angela Merkel appear to be, more lenient towards Vladimir Putin. Well, particularly the German Chancellor. When she was a young politician in Eastern Germany before the unification of East and West Germany,
right,
Vladimir Putin was a KGB agent in charge of East Germany. He was a lieutenant colonel then, retired as a lieutenant colonel in the KGB. So, covertly or otherwise, Vladimir Putin was instrumental to the rise of Angela Merkel into German politics. So, there can never be a confrontation between Angela Merkel and Vladimir Putin. They know how to settle their issues. They had come a very long way. So, whatever the West or Europe did, they should be wary of Vladimir Putin because he's a grandmaster in the game. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But before you go, a slight correction to your correction. Before World War II, Crimea was part of Ukraine. The 1954 concession was to correct those past arrangements. At least that's what Ukrainians say. Now, the question is, if there's a dispute like this, should it be settled by the military? Should Russia had annexed Crimea, or should they had gone to the UN?
Going to UN is a long process. Vladimir Putin doesn't have much patience, So I think it was the proper thing. They gave it to Ukraine in 1954, and when Ukraine started misbehaving, I don't think Vladimir Putin was wrong to have taken back Crimea.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling, Peter. I love when Peter calls me. Kevin in Surulere, hello.
Yes, Sandra Ezekwesili.
How are you? Welcome to the show.
Yes, to God be the glory. Putin, when you have a bone in your neck, your throat, Putin is like a bone in the throat of the West. I am telling you. And the man is not likely to leave that office, later. For the way I see it, it's going to be a life president. But I know that the West have a way of dealing with him. They will mark that because attacking the ship of Great Britain is a thin line. Britain and America, there's a thin line between them, like father and mother. So they work it out. They know the way to handle him. But the man has been a pest to the West.
A thorn in their flesh.
Yes, I'm telling you. Regarding your first story, ironically, that treaty was signed here in Lagos during the Yakubu government regime. And if it was signed here and we are part of that treaty, why are we disobeying court orders? This government is legendary in disobeying court orders. It was this same Ecowas court that talked about Dazuki release and all that, and they even said they should pay Dazuki 15 million naira, damage. The federal government did not do it. They ignored that ruling. This same government.
Well, but if you pay attention to Etim seems to tacitly endorse behavior like that.
No, I think we should get ourselves informed regarding, if we remove sentiments when it comes to issues like this, and get ourselves properly informed. There's no reason why you should sign a treaty to an organization. The 15 countries that are in ECOWAS are all part of that treaty.
Right.
And that's why I get, disturbed and annoyed when some of these things are happening in some of the ECOWAS states, and nothing is being done by the ECOWAS itself.
Right.
They don't feel like a dog that barks that can't bite.
Right.
So if you don't want to be part of that treaty, then leave that place. Don't be part of it. As it is now, the federal government must obey the court orders because they are part of that treaty. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for calling. I should mention, by the way, that, I've mentioned it before, but let me say it again, that AGF Malami said that the federal government is studying the injunction. So obviously, the federal government is acknowledging that the ECOWAS court may have authority to give it an order, right? But that's as an aside. Let's bring you our third story, where Trump's COVID infection was more serious than previously revealed. Oh, yes. And there was no plan for a handover to Mike Pence. Oh, yes, that's our final story. So a group of journalists with the Washington Post have been investigating all the events surrounding then President Trump's illness when he got COVID. And they're now about to release a book about their findings. We've seen some excerpts from that book already. And here's what's grabbing the headlines. First of all, Trump was way sicker than the public was told. By some accounts, he was near death at a point. That was the reason why they had to bypass all the medical protocols and give him an untested drug treatment. But here's the part that's been shocking some Americans. There was no plan in place for a handover to VP Mike Pence. Not even a temporary handover. Now, according to the US Constitution, if a president is incapable of doing the job for whatever reason, the vice president can be asked to take over as acting president until the president is back on his feet. But according to the book, the administration did not have any protocols in place for that handover. So basically, if Mike Pence suddenly had to be made acting president, it would have been impossible or very difficult for him to get to work. In fact, from January 2017 until October 2019, when Trump got sick, Mike Pence and his team had never been briefed on the process for a handover. Never. So this has gotten a lot of people talking about what the public should and should not know about a president's health, or a governor's health, or a prime minister's health. On the one hand, you have some people who say, oh, we need to have as much information as possible so that we, the public, and our elected reps can decide whether or not the head of state is fit, or whether he or she should hand over temporarily or permanently. It should not be in her hands. Because what if she just doesn't want to hand over to her vice president, you know? But on the other hand, some people say that too much information can be a bad thing. So, for example, if people hear how ill a president is, it could cause, or it could even make foreign enemies take some bold actions. So there's a national security argument there, in a way. Now, here in Nigeria, we're very familiar with scenarios around chief executives and their health. In the last year of his rule, Abacha was very sick, rarely seen in public. A lot of people in Nigeria did not even know that he was sick, which is why the story of that apple, went very far and people were buying it. Meanwhile, abroad, his sickness, his liver cirrhosis, was being discussed very frequently. But it wasn't being reported as much in Nigeria, as widely in Nigeria. And then you had the Yaradua situation as well, where basically the Senate had to break the law to get Jonathan sworn in as acting president because there was no previous, no provision for a temporary handover if the president was absent and didn't hand over himself. And then, of course, we've had the controversies around President Buhari's medical trips, which he has cancelled, by the way. The most recent one he has postponed for now. We'll let you know when the new date is. But yeah, we've seen the controversies about whether he should hand over to VP or Shimbajo or not. Or whether he can work remotely. So given all of this context, what are your thoughts? Do you think the US government should have revealed the extent of Trump's illness? What do you think about the lack of a plan to hand over to Vice President Pence? Women, call me on 014657190. 014657190. Men, call me on 0700-993-993. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. Yes, you can still talk about the first story with Ecowas, or you can talk about the Russian story, or you can talk about Trump's COVID infection. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for calling. What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just
Hi, just look where.
Yeah. See, on the first story, I want to ask you a question. What do you expect before? What do you think the federal government, do you think they were going to allow external forces? You know, they will call them external forces. You think they will allow them to just come and say they are not doing the right thing? The federal government is always right to themselves. Even let the world court judge the case, they will still claim they are right. Anyway, about the Trump matter, I think it's a situation if it happened in Nigeria. Now that I'm hearing it, I believe it is everywhere. Over there, it was hard for them to hand over to Pence. Imagine. So we blacks, we are always saying, yes, they want to hold on to power. They themselves also want to hold on to power. If the U.S. themselves cannot think of handing over to the vice president. So I think now I understand better with the way they behave. There's nothing like we are black or they are white.
Just look where. Thank you for calling. Ayodele in Surulere is on the line. Hello, Ayodele, welcome.
Yes, Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ayodele Lebele.
Good to have you on the show.
I just want to comment on 3 issues. Yesterday I called in, then I don't know what happened due to the network.
Okay.
First is that we've lost it completely in Nigeria. I think to say Nigeria is a failed state is an understatement, because the dichotomy between those in government and those that are led is actually getting widened every day.
Okay.
Just today I was harassed by a few, some plasma or what do you call them, around the Shakedo. That's just a digression.
Yes, it
they
is.
Claim that where I took, I've always followed that same service lane. It was supposed to be a one-way.
Okay, Ayodele, I sympathize with you, but I also don't want to digress the conversation.
Let me go to the topic at hand.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to make a point when it comes to the question at hand is, I think you're talking about Trump, about the need for presidents to disclose their health conditions and all that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so ideally, what I believe people in government should do is to be sincere to those that are led, because truth is that there's a social contract between those in government and those that are led. Okay. And in all fairness, because you are there, you are just keeping, you are holding forth for them. You are meant to always report to them what exactly the situations are. So, when governments want to be insincere, they tell you national security, what have you. The same thing Buhari and his squad will tell you in Nigeria. When Buhari wants to celebrate his lawlessness, he will tell you he's protecting national security. I don't know whether you are.
I follow. I'm following. Yeah.
Yes. So when they want to do all sorts of rubbish, they put it under the name of they are protecting the sovereignty of Nigeria. So, do we have any sovereignty in Nigeria apart from this space? The landmark itself. Apart from the geographical space, do we have pride as a people to say we are Nigerian?
Well, we're still a sovereign nation and we're still very proud of our country. So yes and yes and yes. I should mention that the next 15 minutes is brought to you courtesy UNICAF. UNICAF is a leading online education platform and they're offering scholarships to people who listen to Hard Facts. We'll tell you more about it after this break. Don't go away.
Are you ready to invest in your future? Explore endless opportunities with the exclusive UNICAF scholarship program. Choose from a wide range of master's degrees from prestigious British universities. Study online. Balance education with family and career growth. extra benefit, a customized payment plan to make it even easier for you. Call us on 07000 111 000. That is 07000 111 000 to help you jumpstart today. With Unicaf, you can.
Yes, indeed, you can. Let's keep taking your numbers before we take you over to Unicaf. They are a company that helps you get degrees from foreign universities without leaving Nigeria. 0700-993-993-993. We've brought you 3 stories today, and they are really great stories. So we've talked about the courts ruling against Nigeria's Twitter ban. Then we've talked about the naval standoff between Russia and the UK in Crimean waters. Then we're talking about new revelations that the US government wasn't prepared for a handover to Mike Pence when Trump caught COVID. And my questions for the different stories are, if you think the federal government, who enforces ECOWAS decisions abroad, will obey the ECOWAS court on this Twitter ban. And then I also asked if you think relations between Russia and the West will improve or will worsen. And then, how much should citizens know about the health of government officials? We've got WhatsApp 080-959-75805. Hello, thank you for calling us.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? What's your
Good
name?
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Pastor Ladi for calling.
Pastor Ladikto, are you there?
Hello,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said for me, one of the big challenge we have in this part of the world is ability to click onto power, and they don't want to release it.
Okay.
So one of the big challenge that we need to deal with, especially you will see somebody that is sick and the person knows he's sick and he will still want to hold on to power and remain there. That is why some of them can't even transfer power, even when they are going on sick leave. So this is for it to come to an end. We need to put into consideration the health conditions of those we elect into government offices. Thank you.
All right.
And God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling. 99.3.
Hello.
How are you? What's your name?
My name is Olaskomi, calling from Lasso.
Good to have you on the show. Go ahead.
What I would say, I would like to comment on the first issue.
Go ahead, please.
And as a country practicing confederal system, and I'm sure the government will have it at the back of their mind that the central is always weaker, like a dog that can just bark and not bite.
Okay.
And on the third issue, it's just a statement that I would say is that power intoxicates. Okay. I believe it is impossible to just hand it over like that. You to go and because it intoxicates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. Speaking of intoxicating, one of the things we mentioned in our second story is President Buhari's medical trips abroad. And medical tourism is not the only reason that Nigerians go abroad, right? A lot of Nigerians go out to study as well. And many more Nigerians want to go abroad and study. But they cannot because of commitments that they have in Nigeria. They either have work or they have kids or they don't have enough money to chase visa and accommodation and food, etc., etc. But what you're saying to us is that they don't even have to leave the country anymore to get an MBA from Europe or from America. How do you make that possible?
Yeah, like you said, from the comfort of your home, you can actually get an MBA. Yes, I'm going to repeat that. From the comfort of your home, you can get an MBA. And who is doing this? Unicaf. Unicaf is a leader when it comes to higher education provision for the Nigerian populace, especially for entrepreneurs and business-savvy people. And what Unicaf is doing is we are partnering with several universities in the United Kingdom, in United States of America, and also in Africa. And we're helping the Nigerian populace, the Nigerian youths, and also listeners of Hard Facts to help queue into our partially funded scholarship. Yes, Unicaf is offering partial funded scholarships, and these scholarships are only available for 300 people. That is to say, we have only 3 slots available, and it's going to run up to the end of June 2021. And how are you going to get in touch with us? You can send us a WhatsApp message on 0816 866 4442. That is 0816 866 4442. Or call any of our cost advisors on 07000 111 That is 07000 111 And we promise to hook you up with the best of professors when it comes to business administration, when it comes to business consultancy, and help you build your career in business and guide you through. And what we're also doing for you is we're making available to you the opportunity to choose a payment plan that suits you, suits your kind of job, suits your kind of income. And it's a win-win for everybody, basically.
All right, basically, I like how he says that. Let's go to WhatsApp where Amechi and Naduaka says, Sandra, you're doing a great job by opening up Nigerians' eyes and educating Nigerians with hard facts. Ecowas court interference on PMB Twitter ban in Nigeria is a welcome development as long as Nigeria is a member of Ecowas. And all good people of Nigeria should put their hands on deck to condemn this ban. Because from every sense of evaluation, APC administration is trying to shut down our freedom of expression and our human rights. It's strategically planning towards 2023 election, but by the collective efforts of everyone, we can stop that agenda. Mr. Nadwaka, thank you for your message. Sandra, let's face it, all these wrangling with Twitter are just signs of the interplay of international politics and politicking, just as it is happening in Europe right now between Russia and Britain. That would work in Nigeria's favor in the long run, and the present-day Nigerian government is actively involved here. Let all these unnecessary hue and cry from the uninformed cease now. And please, this manner of some of your callers here of merely verbally abusing the government is doing us no good of any sort. We must be guided. That's a message from Duncan in Ijegun. Duncan, thank you for your message. Sandra, Nigeria should obey ECOWAS laws because that's what they signed. If Mr. President banned Twitter citing security reasons, why didn't he stop killer herdsmen he claimed are from Mauritania and Libya if he truly wants to protect this nation? As for Russia and the UK, I think the UK is right, and the Russians should have maybe annexed Crimea through a legal means. Maybe conducting a referendum or through international means. That's a message from Chief Udo. Chief Udo, thank you very much for your message. Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and though they signed a treaty with ECOWAS, the safety and survival of the nation is important, and all and sundry must try to uphold our sovereignty no matter the side of the divide politically. That's a message from Ice from Ishaga. I like how, some of you have made Twitter into a tool of destabilizing the sovereignty of the nation or the security of the nation. It's very, very interesting. We've got Olasuji who says, Sandra, you can see double standards and the culture of impunity by our government carried to sub-regional bodies. It's really a shame. How can we conform with regional law, but we cannot even comply with the ones that we made ourselves? We've got this message here from Ororo who says, Sandra, I really don't know who is worse, the government or their ignorant followers. Okay. Let me see. What other messages can I take? I'm trying to be as diverse as possible. Is it a must for him to travel to the UK? Well, he's not traveling anymore. He's postponed it. Sandra, this is what you get when you select the weakest and not so bright to represent you. Okay. Deji from Oba says, ECOWAS is strictly West Africa. ICC is across continents. How is that the same thing? How can you say that issues of abuse of fundamental human rights is the same with insecurity claim of a federal government? People need to read. Oh, okay. And then you also said the Attorney General doesn't know the meaning of a... Okay, no, I can't read that. I'm sorry. But thank you very much for taking the time to type a message out to us. Again, the last 15 minutes of this show is brought to you courtesy ECOWAS. Not ECOWAS, sorry, UNICAF. But hey, ECOWAS is making sure that your rights are protected in Nigeria. UNICAF is making sure that you can get an education from Europe and America from the comfort of your house. So let's listen again to our sponsors and then I'll take a few calls.
Are you ready to invest in your future? Explore endless opportunities with the exclusive UNICEF Scholarship Program. Choose from a wide range of master's degrees from prestigious British universities. Study online. Balance education with family and career growth. Extra benefit, a customized payment plan to make it even easier for you. Call us on 07000 111 000. That is 07000 111 000 to help you jumpstart today. With UNICEF, you can.
All right, let's see. Who can we talk to before we have to quickly run out of here? Hello? Hello? Good evening.
Samuel from Ikorodu.
Welcome.
Well, the first point you made about Nigeria, okay, if you are not pleased with it, we should just leave the Ecowas. The sovereignty is one, then obeying the human right is another one. Okay? The sovereignty will bow because these things affect the generality. I'm surprised when people, try to use that as against, being against the administration and all that. This is human rights. People have lost their job not being on Twitter. They should consider that. That is even more desperate. People can do anything when they don't have enough, on their table.
Oh, sorry about that. Call back if you can, huh? All right, let's take a look at messages via WhatsApp. More of those messages are coming in, but I did promise I was going to take calls, right? So we'll take a final one. Final call. Hello. Sorry about that. 99.3.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Am I on to Nigeria Info?
Yes, you're talking to Sandra. Go ahead. What's your name?
My name is Evans Uneze.
Evans, welcome.
First caller.
Okay, good to have you here.
Please, considering the Ecowas and their court ruling over Nigerian Twitter. What I believe that, when you put somebody that is not, they don't know, even the people that are advising our government, I don't know the kind of school they went, they cannot even advise them well. Even now, they say they are studying the court ruling of
Ecowas.
They will come out now in their conclusion. They cannot even interpret that the ruling. Now, they will mislead the government not to do the right thing. I don't know the kind of advisors now our Nigerian government just bring and surrender themselves. They don't know they are left from their right. That is the problem we have.
All right. Thank you for calling to share that opinion. In the meantime, let's talk online, shall we? Thank you very much to UNICEF for bringing you the final 15 minutes of today's Big 3 Global Edition. Coming up is Public Square with Agogo Obo. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili on social media. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to take your thoughts. But those were your hard facts, Lagos. See you on Monday.
Don't forget to listen to your number one station for talk anytime and anywhere. Just search Nigeria Info FM on the Apple App Store and on Google Play Store and never leave home without us again. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.